The most hurtful way relationships end isn't with shouting or slammed doors. It's when someone leaves without saying goodbye, without explaining why they're leaving, without giving you a chance to understand what went wrong. It feels like trying to delete memories that refuse to be erased. Photos, videos, late-night texts, voice notes you never thought you'd miss. One person takes over your entire gallery, your playlists, your habits. Deleting them feels like deleting your best spring season, the one where everything bloomed. Clara Whitmore sat on the edge of her bed, phone glowing in the darkness. 3 weeks had passed since Julian Hartley walked out of her apartment after an argument she could barely remember. Something about priorities. Something about not being enough. The words blurred now, but the silence afterward remained sharp. She scrolled through her camera roll. Julian laughing at a Sunday farmer's market. Julian kissing her forehead at a rooftop bar. Julian sleeping while she photographed him in golden morning light. 643 photos. She'd counted. Her thumb hovered over the delete button. She couldn't do it, because deleting meant accepting it was over. And Clara still believed, somewhere deep in the foolish corners of her heart, that Julian would text, that he'd show up at her door the way he had after their first fight, holding coffee and apologies. He always came back. Until he didn't. The voice notes were worse. She played one from April, his voice warm and sleepy. Morning, beautiful. I'm thinking about you. Always thinking about you. Clara locked her phone and pressed it against her chest. The room felt too quiet, too empty, too full of ghosts that refused to leave. She opened Instagram without thinking. Muscle memory. Dangerous territory. Julian hadn't posted anything, but his cousin had. Elliot Hartley's story appeared at the top of her feed. A photo of a private jet interior. Champagne glasses. Leather seats. The caption read, "Living right." Clara's stomach twisted. She tapped through. Another story. Julian's hand holding a drink against the sunset. No face. Just enough to recognize the watch she'd given him for his birthday. Then another. Julian laughing with someone off camera. The timestamp showed 20 minutes ago. Clara stared at the screen until her vision blurred. If Julian was gone, why did it feel like he was everywhere? Why did it feel like he was performing his new life specifically for her to see? She locked her phone and placed it face down on her nightstand. Sleep didn't come. The question haunted her until sunrise. Did he really leave, or was he just watching from somewhere else? The post became a pattern. Every few days, Elliot would upload another piece of Julian's life. A 5-star hotel lobby. First-class boarding passes. Designer shopping bags arranged artfully on marble countertops. Clara recognized the timing. She'd post something, anything, and within hours, Elliot would respond with evidence of Julian's upgrade. She posted a photo of her morning coffee. Elliot posted Julian at a Michelin star brunch. She shared a sunset from her balcony. Elliot shared Julian's view from a yacht. It was psychological warfare dressed as casual socializing. Her best friend Devin noticed during their weekly call. Why would someone who's done with me still need me to see his life? Clara asked, voice breaking slightly. If he moved on, why does he need me to know about it? Devin sighed. Because he hasn't moved on. He's just pretending louder than you are. But Clara couldn't shake the comparisons. She imagined Julian with someone polished and effortless. Someone who fit into private jets and champagne sunsets without feeling like an imposter. Someone better. The thought made her feel small. Then Julian started watching her stories. Not liking, not commenting, just watching. Every story. Within minutes of her posting. Clara found herself crafting posts for an audience of one. She'd photograph her smile, her outfit, her carefully arranged breakfast, then watch the viewer list, waiting for his name to appear. It always did. The humiliation of it. of performing for someone who wouldn't even acknowledge her, made her hate herself a little more each day. One morning, her phone buzzed. A DM from Elliot. Coffee sometime? Would love to catch up. Clara stared at the message for a long time. She agreed. They met at a cafe in downtown. Exposed brick walls, industrial lighting, the kind of place that charged $8 for oat milk. Elliot arrived in tailored casual wear, all deliberate ease and practiced charm. He hugged her like they were old friends. "You look good," he said, settling into his chair. "Really good." Clara wrapped her hands around her latte. "Thanks." They talked about nothing for 15 minutes. Work, weather, mutual acquaintances. Then Elliot leaned forward, expression shifting to something resembling concern. "I think you should know," he said slowly. "Julian's seeing someone else." The words landed like stones. Clara kept her face neutral. "Okay. She's from his world, you know? Same background, same social circles." Elliot's tone was gentle, but his words cut precisely. Very classy. Well matched. I think his family's relieved. Honestly. They always thought he'd end up with someone more on his level. Clara's throat tightened. Elliot reached across the table, fingers brushing her hand. "I just thought you deserved to know, rather than finding out online." She pulled her hand back. "I appreciate it." But she didn't. She drove home in silence, Elliot's words echoing. Same level. Well matched. Classy. All the ways she'd never been enough. Wrapped in sympathetic packaging. The flirting started 3 days later. Elliot began commenting on her posts. Not generic likes, actual comments. Compliments that walked the line between friendly and interested. That smile could start wars. Whoever's getting your attention is lucky. Some people don't know what they have until it's gone. Then Julian's older brother Marcus appeared. A comment on her photo. Some men don't recognize diamonds when they have them. Clara stared at her phone, confused. Another comment from Marcus the next day. Intelligence and beauty, rare combination. She texted Elliot. "Why are you both suddenly so present?" His response came immediately. "Because we see you. Always have." Something felt wrong. Clara mentioned it to Devin, who pulled up Marcus's profile and scrolled. "He's liking photos from 2 months ago," Devin said slowly. "That's not casual interest. That's a campaign." Clara's stomach sank. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying Julian's family doesn't do anything without strategy." Devin looked up. "Screenshots exist. I guarantee he's seeing every interaction you have with them." The realization hit Clara like cold water. Julian wasn't over her. He was orchestrating emotional revenge through his relatives, making her feel desire while ensuring she knew she'd lost him, keeping her in orbit while he paraded his new life. She'd been a pawn in a game she didn't know she was playing. That night, Clara deleted her Instagram app. Not her account, just the app. If Julian wanted to win, he'd have to do it without an audience. She refused to be a weapon someone used against herself. Clara met Lucas Bennett at the gym. Not a regular gym. The kind with eucalyptus towels and purified water stations, where memberships cost more than her monthly rent. Devin had gifted her a trial pass for her birthday. Lucas was on the rowing machine when Clara took the one beside him. He had the quiet presence of someone who didn't need to announce himself. Expensive watch, simple athletic wear, salt and pepper hair that suggested he was somewhere in his early 40s. He smiled politely when she sat down. Nothing more. They rode in comfortable silence for 20 minutes. Afterward, in the juice bar, he was ahead of her in line. When the barista handed him his green smoothie, he glanced back. "First time here?" he asked. Clara nodded. "Trial membership." "It's overpriced," he said with a slight smile. "But the steam room's worth it." He paid for his drink and left. No performance. No agenda. Just a human interaction. Clara found that remarkable. She saw him twice more that week. Same rowing machine. Same polite distance. Friday afternoon, he spoke first. Forgive the observation, but you seem somewhere else lately. Clara looked up, surprised. Is it that obvious? Only to someone who's been there. Lucas's expression was kind. Bad breakup. She laughed bitterly. Is there any other kind? They ended up at the juice bar again. This time they sat. Clara found herself talking. About Julian. About the posts. About feeling like a character in someone else's revenge fantasy. Lucas listened without interrupting, without offering hollow reassurances. When she finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, People who heal don't need audiences. The simplicity of it made Clara's chest ache. I'm Lucas, by the way. Clara. They talked for an hour. He was a CEO. Technology sector. Something about data security she didn't fully understand. Divorced. No children. He spoke about his ex-wife with respect but distance. I've learned, Lucas said, that the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. When you stop needing someone to know you've moved on, you actually have. Clara studied him. You sound like you've done the work. Therapy in time. He smiled. Lots of both. The next day, Lucas texted. They'd exchanged numbers casually, the way adults do. Dinner tomorrow? No agenda. Just good food and better conversation. Clara agreed. At dinner. Lucas was exactly what Julian had never been. Present. Curious. Uninterested in performing. Over dessert, he made an unexpected proposal. I have a suggestion. You can absolutely say no. Clara raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. 1 month. We appear together publicly. Nothing fake about the connection. We clearly enjoy each other's company. But we let people draw their own conclusions. A fake relationship? A strategic one, Lucas corrected. I have shareholders who think I'm too distracted since my divorce. You have an ex who's using your emotions as entertainment. We solved both problems. Clara set down her fork. Why would you help me? Because I like you. And because watching good people get manipulated by small people irritates me. His eyes were steady. 1 month. Public but respectful. No lies, just presence. If it doesn't feel right, we stop. For the first time in weeks, Clara imagined Julian seeing her with someone who didn't need to compete. Someone who chose her without conditions. The thought felt like oxygen. Okay, she said. 1 month. Lucas smiled. I promise you won't regret this. Clara wasn't sure whether she was protecting her heart or risking it, but she knew she was done being Julian's audience. The first photo appeared on Clara's feed 3 days later. Lucas had taken her to an art gallery opening. She wore a navy dress she'd been saving. He wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her car. They looked good together. The photo showed them examining a painting, Lucas leaning close to whisper something that had made her laugh. The intimacy was real. The context was strategic. Clara posted it without a caption. Within an hour, Julian texted, You look happy. Didn't expect that. Clara typed and deleted 3 responses before choosing silence. Lucas noticed a distraction over dinner. He reached out, he asked gently. She nodded. You don't owe anyone access to you, Lucas said. Not explanations. Not closure. Not anything. The words settled something in Clara's chest. Over the next 2 weeks, they fell into an easy rhythm. Charity galas. Weekend brunches. A spontaneous road trip to wine country that Lucas documented with casual elegance. His posts weren't performative. They were appreciative. A photo of Clara reading in his library. Intelligence is the most underrated form of beauty. A candid of her laughing at something off camera. Turns out, good company is the best investment. Julian's messages grew more frequent, more emotional. Is this serious? You moved on fast. Does he know you the way I did? Clara showed Lucas one evening. They were at his penthouse, overlooking the city. Lucas read the messages without expression. What do you want to do? I don't know, Clara admitted. Part of me wants him to hurt. Part of me wants him to disappear. And the third part, she looked at him. The third part wants to stop thinking about him altogether. Lucas set down her phone. That part's the one worth listening to. He was right. Clara realized she started looking forward to seeing Lucas not because it bothered Julian, but because Lucas made her feel steady, safe, seen for who she was, not who someone needed her to be. The lines were blurring. 2 weeks in, Devin pulled her aside. You know you're falling for him, right? Clara's immediate denial died in her throat. It's complicated. It's really not. Devin smiled. You light up when he texts. You dress for him now, not against Julian. You're not performing anymore. Clara sat with that. Devin was right. Somewhere between strategy and appearance, something real had taken root. Lucas's birthday approached. Clara spent 3 days writing a post that had nothing to do with their arrangement. She posted it at midnight. Happy birthday to someone who taught me that real strength doesn't announce itself. Thank you for being exactly who you are. Thoughtful, brilliant, endlessly kind. The world needs more people like you. I'm grateful I found one. Lucas called her at 12:03 a.m. No one's ever talked about me like that. He said quietly. Clara's heart raced. I meant every word. Silence stretched between them, heavy with things unsaid. Clara, Lucas began. I know, she whispered. I don't want the deal to end. Neither do I. The shift happened gradually, then all at once. Lucas started touching her differently, hand at the small of her back with intention. Fingers intertwined not for cameras, but for comfort. Kisses on the forehead that lingered. Clara stopped checking if Julian watched her stories. She stopped caring. One evening, Lucas cooked for her at his place. Nothing elaborate. Pasta, wine, music playing low. I need to tell you something, he said, setting down his glass. Clara's stomach fluttered. Okay. This stopped being pretend for me weeks ago. His eyes held hers. I'm in love with you, Clara. The real you, not the version you think you need to be. Her breath caught. You don't have to say anything, Lucas continued. I just needed you to know. No more games. No more strategy. Just truth. Clara stood, crossed him, and kissed him. Not for show. Not for revenge. Because she wanted to. I love you too, she whispered against his mouth. I think I have for a while. Lucas pulled her close. And for the first time in months, Clara felt like she'd come home. They made their relationship official the next day. A simple post. The two of them, foreheads touching, genuinely smiling. When you stop looking, you find everything. Julian's response came within minutes. A long text, part apology, part accusation, part desperation. I made a mistake. I see that now. She wasn't you. None of them were. I thought you'd wait. I thought you'd understand. I needed space to appreciate what we had. I didn't expect you to replace me. Clara read it twice, then blocked his number, because Lucas was right. The opposite of love wasn't hate. It was indifference. And Clara had finally found it. 6 months later, Clara ran into Julian at a mutual friend's wedding. He looked the same. Expensive suit, practiced smile. But something had dimmed. Lucas was beside her, his hand resting gently on her waist. Julian approached during cocktail hour. Clara, you look stunning. Thank you. Her voice was polite but distant. Julian glanced at Lucas, extended his hand. Julian Hartley. Lucas Bennett. They shook briefly. Awkward silence settled. I'm happy for you, Julian said, though his eyes told a different story. Really? Clara smiled. I appreciate that. He wanted more. She could see it in the way he lingered, searching for an opening. She didn't give him one. Lucas excused him gracefully, and they moved toward their table. You okay? Lucas asked quietly. More than okay. Clara squeezed his hand. I'm free. Later, Julian watched from across the room as Clara and Lucas danced. The way she looked at Lucas, open, trusting, radiant, was a look she'd never given him. He'd thought leaving would make her chase. Instead, it taught her to run in the opposite direction. Julian nursed his drink and realized the truth too late. He hadn't lost Clara. He'd trained her to leave. Every silent treatment, every manipulative game, every time he'd made her feel small, he'd been writing the instruction manual for her exit, and she'd followed it perfectly. Clara didn't upgrade to a richer man. She upgraded to a healed one who protected her peace. He didn't need revenge because he'd never been at war. And Clara learned that the best way to move on isn't to make someone jealous. It's to become someone who no longer needs them to be. Thank you for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps more people discover these stories.